The red number 8 car, the red number 8 Budweiser car, is one of the most iconic images in all of NASCAR. For nearly a decade, it was Dale Jr., and Dale Jr. was Budweiser. So when he made the biggest move of his career in 2008, leaving DEI for Hendrick Motorsports, everyone assumed Budweiser would be coming with him. In fact, it didn't. It was one of the most talked about sponsor splits the sport has ever seen. Budweiser and Dale Jr. were a situation that could no longer play out, could no longer move forward. So why was that? And it all came down to this. That is what we're going to be talking about in today's video, because to feel why this split hit so damn hard, you have to understand how deep the partnership went. Budweiser sponsored Dale Jr. from his very first Cup Series season. He went and did it in 1999, and that red number 8 Budweiser Chevrolet became one of the most recognizable cars in the entire sport. For an 8-year run at Dale Earnhardt Incorporated, the beer and the driver, they were basically the same. When you pictured Dale Jr., you pictured that car. And then the earthquake happened in June of 2007 when Dale Jr. announced not only was he leaving DEI, the team that his father built to drive for Hendrick Motorsports starting in 2008, he would also be doing it with a new sponsor. It was the biggest free agent move in NASCAR history, and the natural assumption was that his longtime sponsor would follow him when the rumblings and the rumors about Jr. potentially leaving DEI came out. Then everything got confirmed. Hendrick delivered the news that stunned fans. Budweiser would not be coming along, and the explanation was blunt. Mr. H said that the team had already had agreements in place for the 2008 season, and that would prevent them from having a relationship with Budweiser. This was not a snub or a cold shoulder move. It was a hard contractual wall. And here's the specific conflict at the heart of it. And here's the problem that people miss. Hendrick Motorsports was already committed to PepsiCo, and a soft drink company simply cannot be associated with an alcohol brand on the same race team. So the moment Jr. landed at Hendrick and Pepsi entered the picture, it was done. Budweiser was squeezed out. It was not personal. It was policy. And to his credit, Rick Hendrick did not spin it. He called honoring the team's existing commitments important and openly admitted that the painful trade-off, missing the chance to bring Budweiser, a brand he called synonymous with NASCAR and its fans, into the fold, was just kind of part of it. Now, here's the thing that I want everyone to remember. Do you remember the two sponsors that Junior had when he first went to Hendrick? It was the National Guard, and it was AMP. And he also had Mountain Dew. AMP was still a PepsiCo product or a spinoff of Mountain Dew. It was an energy drink. So, yes, did he miss out on a massive payday from Budweiser and all the beer he could drink? Of course he did. But at the same time, though, he had two major sponsors. One of the things I love about his first batch of cars that he had, or paint schemes rather, for 2008, 2009, into 2010-ish, and I'm actually looking at the National Guard car now. The base of the car was white, but from the splitter up to all the way to like the C post on the back end, that was colored. So National Guard had blue and AMP was green. They were really, really sharp cars. And like I said, I have them both in small die cast, but I have a big one of the National Guard. I love that dark blue color. And so when you look at the decision from him to go, not only leave DEI, that was a massive change in itself, but he also had to leave behind the number 8. He had to leave behind Budweiser. He had to leave the car team. He had to leave everyone that he really, really was familiar with, got used to, dealing with on a day-to-day, week-to-week, month-to-month, year-to-year basis. I mean, he changed everything with that decision. Now, he has talked about this, and Kelly Earnhardt has talked about this, where they had talks with other teams. They had talks with RCR, wasn't interested at all in that, had strong conversations with JGR. But when he went and he met with Mr. H, he didn't want to know the number amount. He did not want the decision to be swayed by money. And he felt like Rick Hendrick was his best opportunity. And I think he's right. I think if you look at the way that his career played out, it was one of the best spots to be in. If you look at the long term of it, it's paid off in a major, major way. Obviously, his association, his business dealings with Mr. H, with Hendrick being a car owner, I forget which one, but he's also a silent partner in JRM. Like, they are tied to the hip when it comes to O'Reilly Series racing. I am under the belief that if Dale Jr., if Kelly Earnhardt, if JRM does go cup racing, which I think they will eventually do, I expect them to do it by 2030. I really realistically think it'll be 2028, 2029 when they do so. I expect Mr. H to be a silent partner, just like, JGR is with 2311. It's going to be an extension of Hendrick, just like 2311 is an extension of Joe Gibbs Racing. And I think a lot of people look at that and say, well, Spire's kind of that. Well, kind of. Yes, they let some of the Hendrick Motorsports drivers drive for Spire and they sponsor Spire's trucks and everything like that. But I think when the opportunity comes around, the bond and the relationship that Mr. H and Kelly and Dale Jr. have is very, very strong. And I think it's going to be something to really play out. I am a guy that has followed Dale Jr.'s career, his entire Cup Series run, but it wasn't until 2002, 2003, 2004 that I really became a Dale Jr. fan. And as a guy that owns a ton of Dale Jr. diecast cars, I would side with saying that I like the bulk of his Hendrick paint schemes better. But I do appreciate the fact that his last Cup ride, he got to rock the black and the red, paint scheme again. I have a big car of that as well. So just interesting things here from Dale Jr. and the way that everything kind of played out, and Budweiser and everything else.